Hey folks, this is Jake Davis with an on-the-fly review for you, and today I'm talking about Ma, released last weekend, directed by Tate Taylor, and starring Octavia Spencer, Luke Evans, Juliette Lewis, Missy Pyle, and a cast of young fresh faces, all of whom pretty much do a good job. This is directed by the same guy who directed Spencer in her Oscar-winning performance, The Help. That I wasn't really a fan of that movie. I just thought, to me, that was just like every goddamn civil rights movie ever made thrown into one. And also with the whole subplot with someone actually, literally, a massive part of this film actually involves somebody actually eating shit pie, and it's not a comedy. That's a fucking... Never mind, I'm drifting off on a different thing here. Anyhow, Tate Taylor also directed The Girl on the Train, which is a terrific movie, unappreciated movie. Definitely recommend that seeing that film, if not for Emily Blunt's performance alone. Now, the whole setup for this film is it takes place in a small town in Ohio, and a new girl named Maggie, her and her mom's recently divorced, come out here to mom's hometown, and got to get used to the new town like anything else, but she does meet some friends pretty quickly, while trying to ask, grown-ups to buy you beer, which I'm not going to pretend I never asked a grown-up to buy me beer, but I would be with the kids hanging out around the side of the convenience store. I was that guy. Anyhow, they're asking these kids, the kids are asking the grown-ups to get them beer. None of the grown-ups are going for it, obviously. Until, one recognizes Octavia Spencer Moss coming by, and she's a veterinarian, and she's walking a dog, and she recognizes the company name on the side of one of the boy's truck, and said the dad's company. She recognized the last name, knew his dad went to high school, talks about it, and they schmooze her, and she eventually buys him beer. Now, right away we see Ma's not quite right. Her name is Suanne. Something's off with her, because even though she buys the beer, she rats him out. And then offers them to crash at her place, or start partying at her place. And obviously, she gets more and more clingy and protective and psychotic, and, Ma is not hinged. I like this movie. I really liked the concept of updating, modernizing Hansel and Gretel, pretty much, where instead of children being allured by candy, it's teenagers being allured by decadence and debauchery and all that fun stuff. So, and Octavia Spencer is great, absolutely great in this movie. Amazing performance. Now, I felt the movie was a little slow, and if it wasn't for the reveal, that, of course, you've always got to show so much in the trailers. Always got to show you too much in the damn trailers. This one, I think they should have showed you very little, and even, like, when things do get violent and, people start getting killed, I don't know, it kind of feels a little forced, and maybe even a little rushed. It's like it's a slow plotting film, and then it just kind of turns into a slasher, you know what I mean? Where they spend a lot of time where, yes, Ma is crazy, she's scary, she's dangerous, she should not be around her, but she's very, very sympathetic. She feels sorry for this woman. So much of her scenes are just so sad, of her being alone. But Spencer is amazing. Amazing performance. Reminded me very much of the scenes where she's alone, just her by herself. Reminded me a lot of this movie nobody has seen, something called Eaten Alive. I watched it, I think, once with my wife. I've seen it a few times with my dad, but I've seen it, like once in my life. This movie is very difficult to find, but it's very, very visual. Came out from about 1977. Same guy, Toby Hooper, same guy who did Texas Chainsaw, and Neville Brand plays this dude who runs a little motel in the swamp, and, he feeds people to his pet gator out there. But it's very, very colorful and very expressionistic. And Neville Brand is great, but her performance reminded me of his performance. Just this kind of bewilderment and fly on the wall kind of feeling when you're alone with her, where it's like I will criticize Tate Taylor's direction a bit. I know I don't like extreme close-ups that much. I don't really like when the camera's all up in the face all the time. It was actually one of my criticisms of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And there's a lot of this. I just think it's far more effective when you're kind of pulled back and almost creates more of a captive sensation for the audience. Anyhow, I'm giving Maul 3.5 stars, but it's a fun 3.5 stars. Like I said, when shit escalates, it kind of gets a little too slashery, and it just feels forced, and doesn't kind of feel at the same pace with the rest of the film. But Octavia is worth seeing the film on merit alone. She was amazing in it, and if, she's a virtual actress. Before she won an Oscar for the civil rights drama, she was popping up in like small comedy roles in like Spider-Man and Dinner for Schmucks. And she's been around for years too. Anyhow, I hope y'all folks enjoyed this video. Hope you like the stuff I do. Like, share, subscribe, or don't. I mean, it's cool if you do, but if you watched it, that's good enough for me. Anyhow, I'm Jake Davis, and I'll catch you on the fly.